What is somatics? Understanding the body's role in healing. You might know something different. I'm actually using paper for this one. I've actually been using a teleprompter before, so I'm going to see if this one feels different because with the teleprompter, I actually can't see myself on the screen, which is totally weird. Anyway, here we go. What is somatics? This is a deeper dive into what it is compared to the last one. So we're going to start with why the body matters. Let's start by asking something simple but profound. Have you ever talked about something painful from your past and noticed your heart racing or your chest tightening? Even if you told yourself you were over it, I've definitely felt that. That's the body speaking. The body is not over it. If it's holding that feeling and that contraction, um, just telling yourself does not make it so. The other thing I have to be aware of is the microphone and how well it is working. Make sure I've got the right one on. Try do. For years, we've tried to think our way out of pain or talk therapy our way out of pain or force our way out of pain, anxiety, trauma, and patterns of behavior that just won't shift. But more and more people are discovering that real healing doesn't happen in the head, it happens in the body. That is the heart of somatics. Next, I'll talk about what somatics isn't. Somatics isn't just body awareness. It's not a fancy form of therapy. At its core, somatics is the process of becoming reconnected to the living, sensing intelligence of our body and learning how to metabolize the experiences it holds. So what that means is we have experiences in our body, they're held in the body. Metabolize means to process them, to support them, to leave the body. The problem is a lot of therapies do that by force, and you think you're processing it because you're crying or you've punched something out or whatever. But often that's re-traumatizing. And if the therapist hasn't done the work of what's called capacity building with you before that, and they are not 100% certain that you can go home and be safe and that you're not going to slip into some dissociation or poor coping skills land, it's quite irresponsible. I have a script. I'm going off script, of course. Okay. So we need to metabolize the experiences in our body, but we need to do it in a way that's safe. For many of us, we've spent years in talk therapy or self-development work. We've got insight. We've built a clear narrative or story around our experience, and yet we're still triggered. We're still anxious. We're still overwhelmed. Why? Because the body remembers what the mind can't process. Talking about our pain doesn't discharge it from the nervous system. Let's talk about what somatics is. Somatics is a return to something ancient and intuitive. It's noticing the felt sense, how you feel. It's noticing how you feel. That's the felt sense is a wank word, bingo word. With no disrespect. That subtle inner knowing or sensation that lives beneath words. So, when you have a gut instinct about something, and often people ignore it, it's sort of putting a name to that. And also it's putting a name to the fact that we could tell ourselves that we're over something, but we're not because our body's telling us that we're not. It's recognizing that the body doesn't lie, even when our minds try to rationalize or explain something. Like when people try to say, oh, someone else in another country has it worse off, or someone else here has it worse off, or but they did it because of this. None of that's your business. None of that is relevant. It's actually accepting that the body doesn't lie. The pain is there. We need to move through it without excusing, justifying, whatever. It's moving from dissociation, which is being slipped out, not present, doom scrolling, vagued out, to presence, from just coping to metabolizing those experiences so you can become a thriver. The body is the royal road to the unconscious. I think that was in The Body Keeps the Score, but I did not write it down. Carl Jung said, I said this yesterday, let's see if I can get it right. Until we make the unconscious conscious, something about fate, we will something, and our lives are just going to happen and we're going to call it fate. That is not the exact quote, but I'm just going to leave that right there. Until we make the unconscious conscious, we're going to just think that everything happens in our life is fate, but it's not. Because if we unsurface what's underneath and we can get to the bottom of our triggers and stop being a slave to them, we can live a much better life. So the body is the royal road to the unconscious. We follow the feelings in our body, where they lead us, where they come from, and work with them. That level of work is therapy. This is a somatics intro. I should stop with the side quests. I'm going to give you a quick example. I once worked with someone who had spent 10 years in psychoanalysis. She had incredible insight, a coherent story, and a strong sense of why she behaved why she did. Sounds a lot like me. But she was still highly anxious, easily triggered, and constantly in a state of hypervigilance. I definitely used to feel like that. What changed for her wasn't more talking. I had had enough of talking. It was learning to feel, to come into her body safely, to notice where the tension lived, to be with her sensations instead of escaping them, which is where transformation begins. And it's hard work, I'm not going to lie. The daily practices are not hard work. What is hard work is really learning to notice that you're becoming dysregulated. So maybe you're turning to pick up that drink. But what can you do instead of that? And start to teach yourself to do that instead. And it might be that you do the new thing and then you go have a drink while you're learning the new skills. Somatics is not new, it's ancient. While somatics is becoming trendy in the modern healing spaces, this work is not new, it is ancient. Cultures around the world, First Nations, African, Asian, Indigenous American, have always known the importance of the body in healing. From Aboriginal healing practices to yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong, Tantra, and acupuncture, all of these are somatic practices. They center the body, meaning they focus on the body, the breath, and presence. What's new is how the West forgot the body and how we're now remembering, which is fantastic, isn't it? Next, I'm going to talk about the mind-body split, which is a modern problem. Much of modern psychology was built on the idea of I think, therefore I am. Thanks, Descartes. That split between the mind and body has caused a massive disconnection. Traditional therapy became about thoughts and stories, but left the body behind. Think of it this way. Cognition can't tell a story, but the body holds... Nope, I said that wrong. Cut dance. Think of it this way. Cognition can tell a story, so we can think up a story, but the body holds the truth. Someone can say, I've forgiven my dad, but when they mention him, their body tenses, their breath shortens, and their hands shake. That's trauma still living in the body. And if we don't listen to it, we stay stuck in patterns that we cannot will our way out of. And again, that used to be me. I tried so hard to understand everything, and I did understand everything. Like a lot anyway. But understanding doesn't take the pain away, doesn't take the triggers away. It's calming the body and learning to be with dysregulation and work through it. Anyway. Next, the felt sense, the doorway to real change. Somatic work often starts with building a connection to what's called the felt sense, a term coined by someone called Eugene Gendlin. This is more than just noticing sensations. It's the full embodied awareness of what an emotion feels like in the body before we try to name or explain it. So we just want to feel it. You could probably stop right there and just see if you can feel anything in your body right now. Like I can feel tension in my hips because my hips aren't good. I feel calm in my body. Maybe you can have a try. When we name the felt sense, not just the emotion or the thought, it often brings a shift, a softening, a sense of, yes, that's it. And from there, the nervous system can begin to regulate itself again. So we feel first, just pay attention to how it feels. We don't want to give it words straight away. Be with it, and then you might find the right words. When we've done that, the body can begin to let go. I have a sheet with numbers. I should just say the numbers. Number 8. Why cognitive insight isn't enough. Insight is not the same as transformation. I'll tell you that for free. You can say, I know I'm worthy, but your gut still might feel like it's clenching in shame. You can say, I'm safe now, but your nervous system might still live in fight or flight. Without including the body, those insights are like water through a sieve. They don't land. And that's literally what happened to me. I was insighty, and therapists would be like, oh, you've got so much insight. Insight is worthless as tits on a bull. Maybe eventually. Maybe once the body calms down, it becomes more useful. But number 9, what somatic healing feels like? It's slower. I don't know slower than what. Like, it's not slower. It's probably actually faster, but it feels slow because you're not trying to rush it and get it done. So it's slower in its nature, but I think the long-term outcome would actually be faster. It's more nuanced because it's tailored to the individual. You're going to work out your own resource that feels good to you and then anchor into that when you're feeling that dysregulation so you can center and come back to a good place. But that's individual for everybody. It's messier than a clean mindset shift. Honestly, a lot of this NLP stuff, people, not just NLP, but there's a lot of coaches out there that are like, mindset, like change your mindset. That's negative. It took me a long time to learn that you actually need to be with the feeling that some might call negative because you can't get through the fire without feeling that. It is more sustainable than spending years lying to yourself and tricking yourself with mindset shifts and trying to recode yourself without processing the important stuff that you need to process. Clients often notice a return of aliveness in areas of the body that felt numb. I can testify to that, especially when it comes to pain, which is a bit of a pain in the ass, but it means I can deal with my pain. The ability to feel feelings without being overwhelmed. A new sense of groundedness and self-trust. I can definitely testify to that as well. Less effort to stay positive because you actually feel safer. It's about feeling safe is about, to me, it might be different for you, knowing that I'm going to be okay no matter what happens. And I really have started to believe that. Number 10, rebuilding the mind-body relationship. One of the most powerful things we can do in somatic work is to help people rebuild a relationship between their mind and their body because we've spent so much time in our minds. This might look like asking, what does your mind think about your body? Is your mind willing to listen to what your body feels? What does your body need in order to feel heard? They're good questions to ask. From there, we start to reestablish trust inside of ourselves. Number 11. In closing, somatics is the way back home. It isn't a trend, it's a remembering. The body is a place where trauma lives. It's also where healing happens, not just by thinking differently, but by learning to feel safely, metabolize what's stuck, and coming back into being present. If you felt like you've done all the work and you still don't feel better, this is the piece that may have been missing. Somatics is the way back into your body, and your body is the way back to yourself. The body has been a really unsafe place, particularly for anyone who's been through CSA, I will say, and particularly for women who've been through DV, and a lot of people who've been through CSA have done multiple times, and they've also had multiple DV experiences. So our bodies don't tend to feel safe, but we are in charge. Our higher self, our true self, we can create safety in our own body for ourselves and then create the life that we want.